Turn me up. Detroit already know what time it is. No soft tape. No fake love. Run the tape. Ball don't lie. Smooth operator, Cade Cunningham. Turn me up. Detroit already know what time it is. No soft tape. No fake love. Run the tape. Ball don't lie. Smooth operator, Cade calm with the handle. Fourth quarter cold, he light up the candle. City on 10 when he shift that angle. One wrong step, now the defense is shambles. Stop sign, saw red light on wings. Clamps too tight, he control everything. Number 9 lurking, no room for the swing. You thought you had space, now you stuck in the ring. Beef stew in the mud, bringing heat to the glass. Talk too light, better move with some class. Jalen Duren at the rim, got the paint on tax. Come down that lane, better know where you at. Ryan Harlan hungry, young wolf with bite. Detroit don't race off, we race fight. Bad whistle blow, still standing upright. LCI shake when the boys get right. From the Coney to the group chat, everybody got a tag. From the cheap seats to the live stream, everybody wide awake. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 3-1-3, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. Yeah. Detroit. Golf in the pocket, cool when it's chaos. I'm on raw routes, first downs pay off. John me and Gibbs, Sonic gone when he take off. Blink one time, now the whole roof came off. Hunch off the edge, that pocket get haunted. Quarterback nervous, now the drive getting stalled up. Buddy stayed well, Stonewall, nobody falling. Jama over top, hit a whole crowd calling. Curry in the back, bad throws get taken. Fourth field loud, whole city starts shaking. Fourth quarter pressure, everybody awaken. Detroit been patient, now the league gotta face it. We sat through the jokes, we sat through the pain. Still watercolor, still screamed in the rain. Now they wanna talk like they knew the name, but we was in the mud when they laughed at the game. Woodward lights, 94 traffic, still tuned in, still talking magic. Win or lose, we don't disappear. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 3-1-3, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. Don't bring lazy takes in here. Don't bring fake debates in here. If you ain't what, don't speak in here. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Smooth operator with the clock on ice. Stop sign waiting, better think twice. Beef stew banging that glass got price. Sonic hit the crease, going out of sight. Run the tape, say the name, Go to scout, check the game, If they cook, we gon' say it. If they sold, we gon' play it. If they 40, we gon' weigh it. Boy,
Hey, what up, though? It's your boy 313 Sports Guru, and I'm here back after weeks off. I think I took a break because season was over, kind of waiting for the action, and we're back, man. Excuse the title. I know it's a long shot, but LeBron to the Pistons, y'all. Um, man, a lot's been going on. Collins is now reported to be on the team, and we're gonna get through all of it. But first, I wanted to talk about some of the things that happened while I was away. We got a new rook. Hey, what up though? 313 courtside. By the way, y'all, I like to talk to the chat a lot. Please um say your piece. I like to bring people up too. If you really want to come up here, let me know. Especially if you got something to say. I like a little challenge. So again, what up though? My name's 313 Sports Guru. This is Detroit, Ball Online Detroit. And let's get started, man. So Ibuka Okori. A lot of people, kind of were underwhelmed by the pick. I was ecstatic. I was happy. I think we had Ben Sturts projected out there, and he kind of moved up in the draft, and Okori kind of moved back. And for me, I think that was a blessing in disguise. I didn't think that we were going to get someone of his uh, skill set. He's electric. He's very quick. I think he said it best. He reminds me of a Colin Sexton. Um, so I'm just super excited. We kind of needed speed. I think we've seen it with Danis. Danis really made an impact with being able to change the pace speed wise. When guys like Marcus Sasser go in, Ron Holland, um, we just see the whole game flip. So I'm really excited about Ibuka. It's gonna take some time, y'all. Don't expect him to come in and be Jalen Brown, and we'll get to Jalen Brown, man. It's a big news there, but he's not gonna come in and be your second primary ball handler right off the bat. And I don't think that guy's on the team necessarily, sadly, but it could be Danis. I think we're investing a lot in Danis. And then, like I said, we got the rookie. He's going to be learning this year. Moving on from the rookie, we also did pick up another rookie, which I think a lot of people don't know too much about. Uh, Anienzo. Hope I'm not butchering his name, but 7 footer. I think we've been asking for a 7 footer. You kind of saw the finals. You saw the Western Conference Finals. You saw what was going on there. You kind of need big men. Sure, we'd like him to be able to shoot, but I'm not gonna get picky here. I think we needed someone who was big, was gonna be able to protect the rim, and I think we got our guy. I think we got our guy. Uh, again, uh, I think. Oh, hey, yeah! Shout out the chat, man. Shout out Pistons FC on Twitter. If you guys want, go on Pistons. Go on Twitter. My boy Unbiased Piston. Go follow him. And go follow all the dudes in there. Great chat. Man, they're crazy, bro. Crazy. But it's lit in there. Go go and ask if you could join the chat. We got too many people in there right now, to be honest. But that's what makes it really great. So welcome everyone from the chat. Please, again, I've seen a lot of opinions in the chat. I kind of want to bring them here. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Just going through the rookies right now. But Anienzo can be a force to reckon with in a couple years on the defensive end. Kind of reminds me of like a Mitchell Robinson. So we'll see where that goes. Um, but right off the bat, man, free agency hit and Isaiah Stewart was gone. Man, the heart and soul of the Pistons, grit, the pride, the enforcer. Um, we're gonna see a shift in how teams look at us and how we present ourselves next year. And I'm gonna miss Stu. I'm gonna miss him a lot. But the reality is, the math wasn't mathing. He hasn't showed up in any of the playoff runs that we've had. Always injured, or I don't know, man. A lot of people are saying he was injured last run. I think he was. I saw him land on his awkwardly on his and his bent his knee in a weird way. Still played, but he wasn't the same after that. So I think he was a little bit injured, and I think that's why we picked up Anienzo. I think we knew we were gonna be parting from Stu, and we're gonna need some rim protection, and we still need a little bit more, guys. We still need a little bit more. I'm really excited to see the the little moves that Trajan still is gonna be making because I think we've seen the big ones. I still have some hope. The Trey Murphy lovers, um, the guys, still hoping to do, get someone big like LeBron. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I doubt it, but I think Trajan might surprise some of us. And hey, we finally got our guy. John Collins was somebody who we were trying to recruit, I think, for like the past 10 years. Finally got him. He's in his peak, so I'm not mad about that. Uh, and then he's still got his athleticism. He's shooting 40% from three. So for everybody talking about we need some more 3-point shooting, I mean, he's at four. I don't know how you're gonna get any better than that. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at getting John Collins. And that was our big fish. So other than losing Stu, what else happened? We also picked up Herder. Had him sitting on the bench there anyways in the playoffs, and so I think Herder's going to be good depth behind Duncan. He was depth yet last year behind Duncan, and I'm glad. I don't know where these reports come out of, guys. Please, when we are reporting, um, just remember that not everything on Twitter is real. Not everything on TikTok is real. Everybody, I seen people reporting some crazy stuff. I knew Duncan wasn't going to get waived. There was a potential, and I know why the conversation was happening. It has a lot to do with cap space. Um, and the biggest elephant in the room, Duren, is why this cap space issue is even a thing right now, and why we had the potential to make some trades, signing trades, and I think it's still there, man. I think there is a potential that we might move away from Duren, depending on this tomfoolery, for better lack of terms, that his agent is putting us through and putting him through. To be honest, I think he at first thought he was doing a good job, sending out messages about how Duran wants to be uh, a Celtic, then he wants to be, a Brooklyn Net. Uh, he pretty much wanted to put on every jersey but the Pistons jersey. Some people are looking at that like the Pistons ruining the relationship. What I see it as is really bad free agent management from the actual agent. He kind of misread the market. And if he was smart, I mean, honestly, it's also Duran's fault too. If Duran just played better, even if it was the same outcome, if Duran played better to his standards, man, he would have got paid. He would have maybe not even by us, but he would have got paid. Um, yeah, Junior, it is all a scheme set up by his agent. Agents, man, they held their players back sometimes, and honestly, like I said, Duran did it to himself, but this wasn't the hand to play, and the media kind of tried to drive it. But thankfully, my boy Trajan, I know a lot of you guys have a lot of opinions about him, but Trajan did the best he could do with that situation. He sat down, he didn't fold, and hey, the cards are in our favor now, and they always were. It's a restricted free agent. He, in a lot of cases, some of these guys have to come back one more year on a team option and then prove themselves. But because he was an all-star, because he made that all NBA team, this is why we're here, y'all. This is why we're here. He had a good season and then he fell off the face of the earth. So uh yeah, you guys can thank Wendell Carter and his girlfriend for getting in Duran's head, but I think we're gonna get him for cheap, y'all. I think we're gonna not cheap, he's gonna get paid, but I think we're looking now towards kind of my ideal, that 30 to 35 range and not 40 to 45 range, which is kind of I think what his agent is shooting for. Regardless, it is what it is. We're on hold. We're gonna remain on hold, um, and we'll see where it goes. I can't wait to see some Duran news. It's been about a day or two with absolutely no news, and I saw someone on Twitter say, they're going back to the boyfriend saying, "Please take me back. Please take me back. I'm sorry." And they're gonna find some middle ground. There's gonna be some forgiveness. Thank what exactly, David? Thank Walker Kessler.
Those were the dominoes that needed to fall, I think, before people started talking about Duran actually, his value dropping. You had people like Walker Kessler on the market. Lakers needed a center. The Nets needed a center. The Bulls, I think, still need a center. I mean, Nick Claxton is good, but they still need a guy. So you saw teams with some money, especially when LeBron said, "I'm not returning to the Lakers." That kind of opened up the market for Durant. So I was a little bit worried. I thought we were gonna. That's when I started shooting for the Jalen Brown signing trades and oh yup, David, you're right, and Mitchell Robinson. I forgot about that with the Celtics. Even though, man, if I'm a Celtics fan, y'all just grabbed some toothpicks with some glue and said put him in center. I don't think he's gonna last the full year, and that I think what we all forget as fans too is free agency isn't the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons' biggest tool usually. If we are gonna get a star, he's usually aged by now. Somebody who kind of wants to, still be valued somewhere. Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. We could go down the list. I think the last one was Blake Griffin, and we saw, he had a couple good years in him, and then it was sayonara. So free agency is not where we do it unless it's those pickups, those underdogs, those gems, those hidden gems. So when we picked up Tim Hardaway Jr. 2 years ago, when we picked up Duncan last year, um, a lot of people didn't think that those were good pickups. They were disappointed. But you see that like that's kind of where we need to build our team. We kind of have to. We got our guy. We got Cade. We got Sartu. He's another one of our guys, and we'll even talk a little bit more about his own internal. Hey, Junior, I know who you are now, uh, Mr. Neurotic, but yeah. So uh, I just think that the market played the way it was supposed to play, and now we've got all the leverage. So Trajan, A+ when it comes to the Duran situation. Again, free agency is not our forte. It's not the most exciting time to be a Piston because we have to see a lot of teams, uh, like the Lakers, Miami, even like San Antonio, Dallas, really attract the guys that we want. But that's just never who we've been, and I'm not mad at it. Um, so moving on, we got a couple guys that we signed right off the bat, and then a trade we made. And I think it was brilliant, getting Isaiah Joe. Hey man, some trolls in the chat. You're welcome to come up here, Junior. I would love to talk to you and meet you, talk to you one on one. And definitely we'll discuss Rui. I think Rui is definitely underrated. Um, and kind of held back on a lot of the teams that he's played on. But we'll talk about him when he's a Piston. So Isaiah Joe, um, we traded for him, and I think man, this is why I hate Stan Van Gundy. I hate him so much because our team was really, we sold everything to try to win a year or two, and that's kind of what Pistons fans are trying to do now. When they say just sell everything, just give all the picks. What happens is that like you look at OKC, you look at even the San Antonio Spurs when they're able to build their, keep their picks, make some trades, get some more picks, have a steed of young talent, let it grow. Then you're able to sell an Isaiah Joe and not be worried. And us as Pistons fans are like, we got our guy, man. He's gonna give us spacing. And Isaiah Joe was like one of their, honestly, a bench player there. So I want to get to a point, hopefully in the future, while still competing for a championship. And I know Trajan has the same vision, where we can look at our bench and say, "Oh yeah, we have an Isaiah Joe there." As of right now, we get excited over these picks, these trades, and even Trey Murphy. I mean, Trey Murphy's great. He's gonna be great, but in my opinion, he's a third option, a fourth option on the championship team. If you really want to be honest, you look at a Devin Vassell. You look at that's where I have him with. I don't have him any higher. I mean, he's a baller. He can shoot and everything, but He's not your second guy. If you really want to talk about second guy, we should have looked at Kyrie a little bit harder, looked at Jalen Brown, looked at those guys, and I knew we were not really going to be competing for those players unless we were selling house, and that includes Asar. And I knew, man, everyone knows we're not giving up Asar. Hey, Junior, if you are gonna eat three tubs of mayo, I'm saying it right here, you gotta come on the podcast and do it in front of everyone. So it's a deal. Junior, I'm gonna get your contact info, and you're eating 3 tubs of mayo when Rui becomes a Piston. I gotta talk to Trajan. I gotta find out how to get in contact with him. But anyways, moving on. Um, some we did talk about those bigger names, right? And I, I think you guys saw a lot of the news today. Jalen Brown going to the 76ers, Paul George going to Boston. Um, we all know Giannis Antetokounmpo is now in Miami, and John Morant joining Portland, Kawhi going back to Toronto, which I don't know what he was thinking. Honestly, you want a championship, you go back to Toronto. Hey, whatever, dude, whatever. Um, but yeah, this off season, man, it feels like the league was kind of shook. I haven't seen an off season like this in a while. And a lot of people in the group chat on Twitter were talking about how you know the East is starting to build super teams, and the Pistons are being left behind. And I'd like to just remind you about the last couple uh championships. They weren't teams that came together and united like the Marvel. It was homegrown talent, developed talent, in free agency picking up guys here and there, good winning players, like for the Knicks, for example. But nobody talks about the continuity and the patience that the Knicks had 3 years straight after their fans, who are some of the craziest, most stubborn fans in the league, talking about y'all wasted the picks. Um, Ananobi's not gonna do anything. He's a wasted pick. Cat is weak. Blah blah blah. Um, hey, they stuck through and they were able to make something happen there, but with continuity. The only personnel change they really had last year, from last year, was the coach. Wally, welcome to the chat, bro. Um, I don't know, man. Sabonis will definitely give you some offense. He'll give you a playmaker, in the paint, but he's not. You're losing a lot of rim protection. He's one of the worst rim protectors in the entire league, and he was injured all last season. So, um, yeah, man. Oh, Junior, bro, you said it, man. I saw this, and it makes sense now. I mean, how they gonna get him in Toronto for the scandal that's going on? So you might be right, bro. I really believe you might be right. I think Kawhi found out how to escape. He wasn't gonna go to Detroit. He knew people would find him real easy. He wasn't gonna go to Minnesota. Yeah, he left the country, bro. And how much money do you want to put on the fact that he's not even gonna play an away game next season? Oh man, I can't wait to see the season start, man. I miss basketball. I know all you do too. That's why we're going crazy here at free agency. And everybody that's joining the chat, welcome. Please subscribe. So that we're building a family here. And also, I mean, if you guys don't like me, you guys can trash talk me like Junior in the chat. But I prefer people like Wally. Hey, welcome to the chat, bro. Um, but nah, man, it's all fun. It's all fun. Um, it will be definitely, Junior saying it'd be hilarious if he only played at home. He's running from the feds at that point. Um, But yeah, man, John Morant, bro, that was another guy who, a lot of these guys are being blackballed, and I almost feel like it's coordinated. so people could get, some teams can get some high value at a low price. I'm sad we missed out on some of those guys, but also I really like our team. I'm talking about continuity, and I really really like our team, how it's constructed. And the only fear I have, Wally's alluding to it in the chat, is Stu, man, is that rim protection. We kind of really traded away defense for offense when it comes to you know kind of promoting B-ball Paul and having him be our backup. I mean, the dude is a hustler. He's gonna get us. He's gonna play some good defense, but he's not. He is no Stu. Phoenix, bro, welcome to the chat. You're always welcome. Your fam. Um, he's not even a Pistons fan, but he always comes by here. So much love. He's a Raptors fan. Raptors fan. I mean, I'm sure you're excited with Kawhi. Make sure he's safe, bro. I heard the feds are after him. Um, I don't think. I also, he says every team in the East got significantly different. I don't think anyone wins a championship in the offseason. Meaning, I mean, look at the Sixers last year. They put together a team with Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid. That's a lot of talent. But you never know what happens. Hey, Kawhi might not play a game for you, bro. Just look at his track record. So I don't really know, man. I don't know. I don't think that you could really judge a team based off of the off season. And then you can't forget that there is development happening with the younger team. So do you think Scotty Barnes is not going to get better? Do you think Cade Cunningham is not going to continue getting better? And Asar Thompson has so much room to improve. I mean, a lot of people want to talk like he's a trash can on offense, but not you kind of got rid of guys like Tobias, who was taking a lot of those offensive sets. Who are they gonna go to? You got a guy like Ron Holland, who a lot of people want to just quit on, send him for some picks, put him in a trade package for just anybody. But Ron. He's a two-way player, bro, and he's gonna be a really good two-way player in the near future, and it could be as soon as this coming year. With a little bit of the experience that he had, he's got a chip on his shoulder after not playing much in the playoffs. I'm excited to see him come out strong. Um, and it never came out of Cade's mouth that he wants a second star, Phoenix, but I would assume that he does want someone to take the load off. But here's what I want you guys to think too. Um, the Knicks didn't go and just get a secondary ball handler. And I don't want to just always say the Knicks, the Knicks, the Knicks. We can even talk about OKC's a little different because Jalen Williams, and you saw what happened when they didn't have Jalen Williams on the team. But and even Cason Wallace, secondary ball handler, but he reminds me more of like a Danis than like I said, like a Jalen Brown or a Jalen Williams. But when you can set up your offense when Cade isn't on the floor, or even when Cade is on the floor, to be a little more pass friendly. And if you're able to have smart players, like Cat took a long time to fit in the Knicks offense because he's just not smart, just to be honest with y'all. He's not a smart guy. He's probably relied on his height his whole life and his three-point shooting. And so maybe he didn't have to learn about offensive sets, when to pass the ball. But then once that clicked and you saw the Mike Brown offense, the Princeton offense in this full display, that offense by itself generates kickouts because pretty much you don't need Jalen what's his name Brunson to be taking the ball in every single time and kicking it out. He's pretty much driving to the paint. Once he hits the paint, kicks out. Another player drives to the paint. Once they hit the paint, they kick it out. Keep kicking it out. Wemby was all over the place. The defense was in shambles, and they were getting easy layups. Same thing against the Cavs. It was the offense that was the playmaker, not just Jalen Brunson. And I think we kind of we have to start looking at that. Those are the teams that win. Unless you have a LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh sort of super team, you're not gonna win by having one-on-one players just go at everybody every single time. It doesn't happen often. You could argue that's what they kind of made there in Philadelphia, but I'm not trying to copy those kind of teams. They get expensive really quickly. They lack defense. Um, so I think getting Jalen Brown was the biggest blessing that they had because they had no defense. They had a team with a bunch of guys who are cones on defense and and only play offense. Really good on offense, but I mean, if you're able to stop them, then once here, once there, get them tired, get them in foul trouble in the playoffs. I mean, they're beatable. So I don't think the goal is to just stack up on superstars. If it was, why didn't we sell for Jalen Brown? So I don't want to build that way. They've been in the process forever, Philadelphia. Are you guys patient enough to to trust the process? I think our process is building a real team. It's not getting a bunch of guys. We have no assets to sell. Our guys are young. If you are selling, there's tradeflation. So you're looking at a guy like Ron Holland, who we value a lot. We know he's going to be good, and they're saying, "Yeah, we'll sell him for a couple second rounders." And it's like, no, man, we want more for around Holland, and it's just not happening. That's why you're not seeing the Trey Murphy trade happening. So JD is not even that valuable because it's still potential. It's not. I mean, he's got one All NBA team, one All Star, and then he got defrauded in the playoffs. So people now know that he doesn't deserve $200 million. Um, so yeah, we don't have the same kind of assets. The most movable contract on our team right now is Asar, and I don't think we're gonna trying to get rid of him. Even Cade is a hard contract to move. You want to move Cade, people will take him, but they gotta shake up their entire team because it's a super max. So there's more to it. It's not 2K. There's more to it than just saying we can build with this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. I think that's kind of why I respect Trajan. He doesn't he's patient and he likes to have leverage when it comes to negotiations. Um, Now, when it comes to the playoffs, I know we picked up Collins. I know we have some spacing now. Isaiah Joe, Duncan. You got Kevin Herter coming off the bench. Danis, by the way, shot pretty well from three last season. Got him on a cheap option. We're gonna have to pay him too, by the way. So we're probably gonna have to pay Danis after this year. So we got about a year to work with before cap even becomes even harder to deal with because got to pay SR. You have to pay Danis. Duncan's the time starts ticking on his contract, which I think he's flippable. But we're looking at 1 year at a time. And we can't fall in love with a lot of the players that we have been accustomed to. So guys like Sasser, guys like, even though Sasser, man, I I really hope we'll talk about the Sasser situation right now, actually, because a lot of people are like, "What the heck happened there?" Um, just to explain the Sasser situation a little bit, Sasser, I believe, this is my belief. When the dust settles and everything is said and done, we're gonna see a big trade between multiple teams, and Sasser was either cap casualty, which is worst case scenario. He's just someone that we had to, chop for his $5 million contract, um, or or even better, Trajan does have a deal with the Dallas Mavericks, and it's an open-ended deal right now until we sign Duren. I don't know what's going on behind in behind the scenes, but it looks like he's dangling Marcus and saying, "Listen, if we don't sign Duren, I like Gafford, and if we do sign Duren, I like PJ." And so I'm not mad at flexibility. I don't think that that's bad. The worst case scenario is we needed to stay under the cap, and we got Collins, and the best way to make it work and still remain flexible was to get rid of Marcus. So I would just say pause on that. Some people have their opinions. I mean, Sasser's great, but Danis gives you a different. He gives you some playmaking. Um, Yeah, Junior man, I'll definitely bring you up here, bro. Uh, if you want to come on tonight, let me know. I can share a link with you and try to get you up here. But otherwise, I'll plan it better, and I'll get you on another night. I'd like to, I've been on a 2 week hiatus a little bit. Kind of sad about the season ending. But it's there's movement now, and so I'm gonna be back up here. I also love the Lions, bro. Like I'm a Pistons fanatic, but I love the Lions. A lot going on there. Not gonna talk about it right now. But if you love the Lions too, man, subscribe, hit subscribe. I talk about them too, and really, man, I want to bring a lot of people up here, Junior. Not just one on one. I'd love to bring up the group, and we sit here and discuss some agenda items. That sounds good, man. I don't know if you can like private chat me or something, and we'll make it work out. Also, man, guys, I do have a another guy that comes up here all the time with me, my partner, main event. Um, th- by the way, just a little bit of context with him. He is a season ticket holder. He's the guy. If you ever went to a Pistons game, you seen him on the jumbotron with the belt. Um, yeah, he's just all energy, and I love having him on here too with us. So we'll be able to bring him up here and chop it up. So I'm excited for that. Now, some of these bigger names, y'all, Trey Murphy, they're still possible. But I do want people to know that, we will be giving up folks. I think we forget that. We'll be giving up some players, especially if we go like a LeBron or a Lori Markkinen route. Like you're giving up some players too. You're not just giving up picks. And then you are going to be giving up the picks too. So if we are going to go for a Trey Murphy, if we are going to go for a Lori Markkinen, I just want y'all to know it's not getting Jalen Brown and putting him around Embiid and and all these other superstars. It's Trey Murphy and that's it. And we're done. And for the foreseeable future. And we get stuck in a little bit of a developmental we at that point we must rely on our internal development, free agents wanting to come here for cheap deals, and we're not LA and we're not Miami. So I don't when you are talking about bringing that big fish, it better be LeBron. It better be a guy who's gonna go all in where we're gonna be contenders and we could win it this year and hopefully a couple years. Uh, Junior says, all I want is PJ or Gafford and see what Ibuka can cook up. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I think PJ would be great depth behind uh what's it I mean, listen, Rui's okay, but I think PJ's a vet, and so getting a vet behind John Collins, someone like PJ who's in his own right an enforcer. Nobody messes with PJ, so you're kind of getting an upgrade over Stu. With all due respect to Stu, you're getting. I don't want to say an upgrade, but just someone a little more seasoned and offensively specifically. I think he could do some work offensively. And if you get Gafford, man, I don't know. I'm a Gafford fan, bro, because every time we used to play him, I don't care how bad the Mavericks were. I think he was on the Wizards before that. I don't care how bad they were. This dude was eating up shots at the rim on the fast break. Um, so I would love to grab one. That's Detroit basketball all the way. So Gafford, if we could pick him up for something like Sasser, and then that would be behind, if we're able to keep Duren too. So we have that offensive young center who we can mold into a more defensive center, with the coming years. I think he's gonna have to learn. Duren, man, to me, I'm gonna segue a little bit. I'm gonna kind of rant a little bit about Duren, but Duren to me, if you see in the finals, man, he really doesn't know. He really doesn't know how to play in the paint. He gets lost, especially defensively. But even offensively, he gets married to the pick and roll. And when it's not there, he doesn't know how to even when he posts up, he's weak. Like turnovers come from him trying to post up and call for the ball. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to rely on him this next year. I know that we're going to be paying him for the future, but even this next year, we need to get guys who know what they're doing, guys who can teach him where to be, guys who've been there before. I really wish Udonis Haslam was still in the league, or we could pick him up as like a coach. You know, as much as I hate Kendrick Perkins, someone like that, who could really teach Duren the basics of being a center, because I feel like he was like a big-bodied baby all his life and wanted to play guard, but they always put him at center, and he just never learned how good he can be as a powerful, fundamental center. Imagine if he had some discipline. If Tim Duncan was to teach him some discipline. Yeah. I mean, I love Big Perk, but he always played on teams that I hated. Like the Celtics, the Cavs, OKC. Man, I can never get, I can never dive with him. But um, he was a good center. He was a good role playing center. And so even when Duren is the problem with Duren is not that he can't fly and jam it. He's a little slow footed, and with slow footed centers defensively, you got to be smart. You got to know where to be. You got to know footwork, and he doesn't know any of that. He's got a nice touch near the rim, um, and that's pretty much it at this point. He's got a nice little midi. I think he didn't show that enough last year. But nah, Junior, man, I can't say that out loud, but I understand what you're saying. Um, Duren is that ibuprofen, maybe even less right now. I think he's like an allergy pill. So we need to beef him up and teach him how to be, how to get the job done as a center. That's what I think. What's the impact with Tobias leaving? I think you're gonna see some veteran leadership leave. You're gonna see a leader, a true leader of men leave. I mean, they didn't call him Unk because he's old. Dude is my age, just aging myself out there. Maybe I'm old, but he's not just old. He's got a thing about him where the guys actually respected him. Cade doesn't defer to anybody and just say, "Hey, take the ball." But with Tobias, in times where they needed a bucket, you always saw him go and get him in the post, even if he missed one, two, three, four open threes. And man, I don't even want to remind you guys about that Cavs series, but yeah, Junior, respect yourself, man. I am old, okay? Um, but yeah, even with all of when he wasn't delivering, I could see that Cade respected Tobias a lot. Maybe too much from the 3-point line. But in general, he would give him the ball, let him work, and trust him to get a bucket here and there. So uh, I think we need some more veteran presence, and I think we're lacking it. Hopefully, John Collins can come in, and maybe that's a role we haven't seen him in. He was kind of that like a tweener role, a tweener leadership role in Utah. But then when he went to the Clippers, he was with a bunch of guys who really weren't even. I don't know what they were doing over there. To be honest, I still don't know what they're doing in LA over there. So um, I think he's glad to be out of there. It's kind of crazy that he's probably glad to leave LA to come to Detroit, but he's going to be in a much better situation here. He's got a role. He'll be starting. And man, he's got Cade, bro. I don't know if y'all forgot, but we have Cade Cunningham on this team. Uh, the smooth operator, ice in his veins, never speeds up, never slows down on his pace. It don't matter. And he's gonna get guys like Duren to look like all stars. Which is why I didn't want to pay him 40 mil, man. That's crazy. He's gonna make guys like John Collins who might on an average team give you 16, 15, maybe give you 7 boards. This dude's gonna get a lot more opportunity to score. Um, next to Duren, you got a big body down low off the pick and roll. Then you got John Collins who understands what it means to be a threat on the 3-point line, but also once you see the lane open up, attack it. Attack it. I mean, people thought Chris Paul was great. I think Cade Cunningham is, levels because of he's got the size now too. He gives me Magic Johnson feel. So I think, you know, playing next to Cade, that's gonna be huge. And then you also got Asar. So now you pair Asar with John Collins and Duren. If Asar can give you a threat, I'm gonna ask him to at least make one out of three pointers a game. You got three a game to shoot. They're gonna be wide open every time. Make one of them, and if he can start doing that, which I think he can, I mean, his form is beautiful. He's, eh, I really think it's all up here. And I mean, I'm a shooter. I think if you guys ever play with me, you better guard me at the 3-point line and even beyond it. Um, and I've had moments where the shot is not falling, and it's not because I can't shoot, because in practice I'm hitting everything. But when it comes to the game, it's just not falling. So being relatable, I could see that. I mean, it could be that he's deferring a lot to the guys who can shoot, to the Cade Cunninghams. And hey, I mean, in the end of the day, hit those 3 shots. Shoot those 3 shots, you get open, and I'm okay with that. It'll open up your game, and then don't be hesitant. I think with the SAR, it's not that he can't drive to the rim. He was doing it so beautifully. We lying about my game or lying about Asar? Nah, I'm a shooter, bro. I'm a shooter. I've always got it going. So yeah, if he could get it going, and be well, Holland too, same scenario. And Holland, go look at his late April numbers. The dude was shooting, I think it was, I got to look it up, but close to 40% from three. Junior, 1-on-1 too, bro. 1-on-1 in real life. We're gonna tape it. Um, but now Holland and Asar, if they can just start hitting some more shots, and I don't mean they gotta be world class, world star shooters. Nah, they just have to hit 1, 2 out of 4, or the 3 or the 4 shots that they make. If they're shooting 33% from three, which is league average, a little bit lower. Um, I mean, just be a threat. Just be a threat because this guy can fly, man. Both of them. I think Ron Holland is so underrated when it comes to attacking the rim and finishing. I think he's one of the best at the league. Sometimes I'm like, how did he get that? How the and ones are like automatic with him. He can draw contact. Both of them draw contact, get to the free throw line. Shoot, if Asar can shoot 80% from the free throw line, and I know that's a little harder. This is why I think it's all in his head, by the way. Because when you got a guy that has really good form but can't shoot from the three and can't shoot from the free throw line, it's all about up here. Um, so if he can shoot, if he can shoot, if he can shoot from mid range at about, give me 44%, give me 44% there. I need you to be able to hit almost half your shots from the mid range. And then give me 1 out of 3 shots from the three, both for Ron Holland and Nassar. I mean, our 2 guard spot, and I would say two, 3, 4. They honestly are movable all across from 2 to 4. Um, it's locked up, man. It's locked up for the near future. At that point, we're just talking about really our center position, and then getting Cade some help at that point guard position. But I mean, hey, Ibuka, I mean, he's undersized, but we did pick up a rookie, and I don't think we're gonna see our like when the season starts, teams start realizing what they need. Injuries start happening, unfortunately. Movement is still going on, so you can't just throw all of your. I mean, you could. That's kind of what Philly's doing. You could throw everything in one hat, on the off season and say this is our team and we're gonna win with this team. But I promise you, you're gonna see a lot of games missed by Embiid. You're gonna see a lot of games missed by Jalen Brown. They're gonna have to stagger. Um, yeah, they're just gonna have to stagger because they're a team with no depth at this point, and they can win some games with just Edgecombe. and Tyrese, who are young. Maybe Jalen Brown there too. But if they go get LeBron, if they go get another old guy, like they're gonna have to stagger their lineup so bad. That's where if you looked at like the Pistons, I mean, it didn't help us much in the playoffs because we went 7 games and then 7 games. We couldn't put our opponents away, even when I know we were the better team. And anyone on here that wants to debate that, I'll debate it with you all day, every day. I'm not gonna go, Cavs coach on you and say analytically. I mean, I'll show you the eye test too. It was just, let's just say, some refs made themselves household names this season. My wife knew the refs' names and didn't know some of the players. So, uh, I'm done talking about last season. Um, but yeah, man, definitely excited about the moves. I know they're not crazy, but I think that generally we got better. I think we got better with, um, dude. I wish that we could pick up Braun for cheap. I really wish that we could bring Braun. I'm not a Braun fan, not because he's not good, but because again, listen, bro. I grew up watching the '04 Pistons, and they took my empire down. He single-handedly took down the entire, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun. I used to love him until that series. I have no respect for someone who just walks out of the way. But again, it's the king, and I hate to say it, but bring him here, let him teach the young guys how to win. And I think Cade, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because LeBron had some of the similar situations, early in his career with the young Cavs. It was him and I can't even tell you Varejao. It was him and Elgaskis. I mean, Elgaskis was probably one of the better players on the team. It was him and Damon Jones. Um, Again, I can't even name some of those players anymore because they're irrelevant at this point. So he was with a bunch of guys who were either on their way out or trying to prove something, and we're not supposed to be playing next to the king. But salary cap, I always make this argument, and I hope this doesn't happen with Cade. But if LeBron never leaves Cleveland, does Cleveland ever win a championship? Do they ever get Kyrie? Are they ever able to build a team that LeBron can just come back to, and fit so nicely and then win? I don't think so. Uh, It just, especially with Cleveland and where they were when they drafted LeBron. Um, they just poured everything into LeBron, and rightfully so. Like there was no space to build a team around him. Um, they tried to put shooters around him. They tried to space the floor out around him. It didn't work, and I don't want to become that Cavalier team. So again, I like what Trajan is doing because he's able to. He's not just going to fold. He's not going to let players walk either. He's going to play it safe, but also risky, gamble a little bit, and have Duren now saying, "Man, I wish I would have took the deal. Now I got no leverage." So with the Duren situation, again, um, I'm gonna grade some of these moves like Isaiah Joe. I think I'm gonna give the pickup a B. I think he's a little bit. Our fan base is overrating him because he's an OKC player and he comes in with 40% from three. But again, I mean, Marcus Sasser was shooting 40% from three. So I just want to, and of course, like Isaiah Joe has good defense, but it's not. I mean, I can't just tell you that Isaiah Joe is gonna be a star. Like that's not the case. He's a good player. He'll come in. He might be coming off the bench. A lot of people had him in the starting lineup. I think Duncan starts. I don't think you just put Isaiah Joe there. I think you have them fight it out. And if Duncan gets eaten up by offenses, yeah, you put an Isaiah Joe there and you tell Duncan. It almost happened last year with Danis, right, in the playoffs, where Duncan almost pretty much lost his playoff spot. But I don't think that you just Isaiah Joe is the answer. I give it a B. I think it's a good move to make. I think signing Kevin Herter for the contract that he has is good. 9 million a year. That's what you need to. That's what you need when you have a core of three guys you're gonna spend. I mean, now we get to actually pay SR. I would not wait if I was Trajan. I would pay this off season if I could. I would figure out a deal, even if it's like backloaded or whatever it takes to sign him for a long term. Because I think I'm one of those guys. I'm an Asar fan, man. I think he's gonna be way better than a lot of these guys are giving him, especially on the offensive end. He reminds me of an early Iguodala that is just way better on defense. And if he's able to develop some discipline on offense and find his spots, Junior man, it's past your bedtime. Go to sleep, bro. Nah, man, thank you for joining. It was awesome talking to you, and I'll talk to you soon, man. Again, send me a message so we can see you eat some mayo. Um, and that brings me to Rui. I think actually Rui is a guy that we could bring his depth to if we don't get PJ. But and that would be for me a B signing, a C signing, depending on the contract. Stu leaving was something that had to happen. Either him or we don't re-sign Duren. And I mean, it's kind of obvious. Do you go with the guy who a lot of folks are saying is injured, his knees won't hold up? I mean, we see it, man. He's on the bench and he's got ice packs. He couldn't even get the ice packs off his knees when he came up to fight Miles Bridges. So I mean, it is what it is. I love Stu. He's always gonna be, deep here in my heart. And bro, we sent him off to Memphis where he kind of it's Detroit's cousin. So I think he's gonna love it there. If we can ever get him back for a cheaper deal when it's over, I would love to bring him back as a guy off the bench, an enforcer forever, Udonis Haslam style. But it had to happen just financially. Either him or B-Ball Paul or Duran. Pick one, you know? And I think they chose the route they wanted to go. That I don't think it impacts us as much as we think it will, but defensively we're gonna take a step back. I'll just let you guys know that we're gonna take a step back defensively unless we really shore up our 4 spot or our 5 spot. Um, Looking at losing Tobias, I spoke about it a little bit, but just the impact there is really losing that leadership, losing the offense that he brings. Beside Cade, John Collins will give us that offense, but not the same way. Um, which I think is good. I think it's good. I think Tobias is a guy who can play within the system, but he's also a guy who says, "Give me the ball and let me take it at their best guy or the guy guarding me. He's too small." Um, where John Collins is a system guy, and you're gonna see him have to play within the system. He's not gonna be a guy that creates too much on on a championship team. He's like your fourth option. Um, he's the guy you really rely on getting those 15 to 20 points every game. I wouldn't even say 20. I would say a little bit, if he can give us 15 to 19 points a game, give us a couple threes from that 4 spot, stretch the floor, dunk it on some people, um, play some good defense. That's what we're gonna get from him. I don't look at losing out on guys like Austin Reeves or Kawhi. I don't look at that as failures, guys. I know a lot of guys want to just chew out Trajan, but it's not. And I know I don't want to say this lightly, but it really isn't his fault. w- Because which GM did you ever see go out there other than Stan Van Gundy and go get a star? And if you are a Pistons fan, you know the impact that had on the team for years and years. And I love Blake Griffin, one of my favorite years to watch. The first game I took, my wife's first game that I took her to, it was a triple overtime game against Philadelphia. Blake Griffin hit a layup to win it. It was awesome. One of the first, I think it was the first season at Little Caesars. It was awesome. Took us to the playoffs, got swept. And we sold our whole future for that, y'all. Our entire future for, don't even make me remember this, but at least what, 5 to 10 years of just horrible basketball. We really were, the draft was not something to look forward to because we were picking so high or we didn't even have picks. We were just in jail, man. We were in jail. Um, so I'm really good. We had to tank and we had to tank really hard, and we were relying on the seventh pick overall, Killian Hayes. The number five pick, the number five pick, and then the number five pick. Thankfully, we got Cade. Duren was a great pick at 12. Um, Stu, even Sadiq Bey, like those guys were good hits but even then, they didn't necessarily sell at the end of the day. But I don't want to repeat that. I never want to repeat that ever again in our franchise's history. So if we are gonna sell our picks, it better be worth it. It better be strategic. Um, it better get us a championship. End of story. Just to get Trey Murphy because you like how he shoots from at the four position is not good enough for me. Uh, just to get Laurie Markkinen because Cade needs a second scorer. Cade does need a second scorer, but Cade also needs a lot of other things too. So I'm not married to the idea that you get a second scorer, sacrifice everything else, and now you're good. That's why Jalen Brown was so appealing to me. You get a two-way player, a guy that plays defense next to Asar, next to Cade. Shoot, if you sold the whole team at that point, um, you got some cap space to get some depth, get a center in the draft, get make some stuff work. But you can't just abandon defense for that second scorer. You can't just abandon what's been working for that second. We have the recipe. I saw someone in the chat say, "We got the recipe, y'all. We got it. We just need to be able to cook. We don't have necessarily the items that the recipe needs. Do we have the money to buy those items? I think we got to be a little patient, y'all. I think we got to be a little patient, and I don't mean that like we're gonna suck for the next year or two and then Cade's gonna leave. Nah, man, I still expect us to make the playoffs. I still expect us to be Eastern Conference contenders. I still expect us to hopefully reach a point in maturity where our Cade and Asar and are leading us to finals, against the Spurs, against OKC. But in the same time, you gotta realize there's gonna be a life after Cade. There's gonna be a life after Asar. There's gonna be moments where, God forbid, Cade either decides to leave to Dallas because he wants to go to his hometown team, or worse, he tweaks something, and then okay, you built the team around Cade, and Cade is not playing, So you, as a GM, yes, Cade is awesome. Cade is the one, the him. You build around him, but you cannot just forego your entire future, all of your philosophies on building a team, on development, on all those things, just because you have a Cade. You make it work and you have the Cade. Otherwise, you end up like Cleveland. You might get a championship out of it if Cade is nice and wants to come back after Detroit rebuilds, but I don't want to go through all that. I don't want to go through. We're a better franchise. We're a city of champions. Um, believe it or not, if y'all are young, believe it or not, we're a city of champions. The Red Wings, the Pistons, and soon to be Lions, the Tigers. It's a city that knows winning, and I feel bad for the young folks who don't know winning like I do. But you're gonna see it, man. I'm so excited with this Pistons team. I think we're on the up and up, and there's only the only way is up with this squad. So chill, chill, chill. I always tell my kids, calm down, relax, and don't stress. Don't stress, yo, because we won 60 games last year. We were first seed. Y'all forget how awesome last season was, how refreshing it was, how awesome it was to see ETA every time we met the Knicks. Um, how good does it feel to be able to say we swept the Knicks? Whether they want to say regular season or not, we swept the champions in the season. I wish we would have seen them. They're lucky they didn't see us. It's gonna be the same thing next year, and we're gonna be even better. And I, I was at a Pistons game. I went to the first game against the Cavs in the playoffs, and I was sitting around By the way, Pistons fans, please, we need to be better at protecting our home court. We have to be better. It was so sad to sit around a bunch of Cavs fans at Little Caesars Arena. And I went to war with them, bro. I'll be honest with you, my section, I took care of it. And we won that game, thankfully. But um, nah, when I was talking to those Cavs fans, they knew what I was talking about. They were sitting there saying LeBron is gonna come save us, and I'm sitting there like, okay, 38-year-old James Harden, 45-year-old LeBron, Donovan Mitchell, poor guy, at his peak, playing with a bunch of old guys, and we're the future, and that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Blink. Tell me more, man. Tell me more. And Solo, I just want to acknowledge Jalen Brown. Man, what a fit, bro. What a fit it would have been. Still, man, I can't believe they got him for what they got him for. I just can't believe it. I know Paul George is Paul George, but yeah, Bling, why are you upset? What made you upset? And please add it in the chat. Guys, I'm gonna put a poll up here. I want y'all to answer it. I see a lot of people saying, they're mad at Trajan. Some people saying they like Trajan, what he's doing, they like his style. So my question is gonna be, what do you what do you feel about this off season so far and Gray and Trajan's job as a GM? And I'm gonna make it. We'll do A through whatever he gives me. Go ahead and answer that. Put your comments in the chat. Uh, Dang, 313 Thug Living says, buy Cade if it's Brunson in return. That's a hot take, bro. That's a hot take. I love Brunson. I think he's great. But if you put Cade there, you don't think that they win? And you don't think they're better set for the future? So I'm gonna throw that back at you because I think if you put Cade in Brunson's position, um, I don't see why they would be any worse. Besides the fact that Brunson is clutch, 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 but I think you wouldn't even need necessarily to have that sort of clutchness if you do have a Cade. Phoenix says they got the 2028 Clippers pick from Philly. Yeah, man, he wasn't expensive for his value though. The dude was almost averaging 30 points a game, 7 and 6, I think. Like those people, those sorts of players don't go for 2 first-round picks. And I'll give Paul George an aging superstar status. I'll give him that, but not superstar. He's a superstar on this podcast, man. He should come and talk to me. Um, Timothy, welcome to the chat. Says Summer League for the Pistons starts on July 9th. Against the 76ers. Can't wait to see our new rookie guard. Okori dropped 30 on him. Me neither, bro. Summer League is one of the most exciting times for me, especially these past 10 years. Seeing guys like, I don't want to bring him up, but Jaden Ivey. Um, it's funny because even when Killian was here and Sadiq, and I was still so hyped for the summer league, man. Just the hope, the promise of these rookies getting some experience, seeing them for the first time. So I'm amped, bro. I'm so excited for this summer league. We'll talk about it. We'll have some. Maybe I'll have some live watches where you guys can come up and we'll talk about it while it's happening. Uh, Bling says they gave away Tobias. Why we couldn't trade Duren for Jalen Brown? Also, Cade still don't have a score to help him. Hey man, facts, 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 bro. Facts, facts, facts. Tobias wasn't that expensive, but I mean, and he wanted to be here too. But you can't have everything. And so I think with John Collins, Tobias, Bling, let me ask you, would you take it back, keep Tobias, and not get John Collins? I just want to know. Phoenix Plays says no. Yeah, but Jalen's on offs have been so bad. I mean, yeah, but on offs are only as like accurate as the team that he's playing with at that moment. So I can't just extrapolate that to our Piston squad. It's like me saying if somebody's really has a B-ball Paul is just always going to be a plus 30 when he's on everywhere he goes and every minute he plays. That's where the data for me. Listen, in my career, I've dabbled a lot with data. I was actually like an analyst. So data, it really you can tell whatever story you want with data, depending on the context. So with Jalen's on and offs, they still won a championship. I could tell you that. Um, you have 8 years of Jalen on and off sample, man. We got to look at that together. Bling, they signed Herder and let Tobias walk. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Also, Cade still don't have a scorer, so Cade don't have to do it all. Hey, that's legit, man. You're not lying. That signing Herder meant Tobias was going to be harder to sign. 313 Thug Limit says answer is no because Cade doesn't have a dominant clutch gene. You don't know that yet. You don't know. I think the more he gets in those clutch situations, the more he'll develop, the fortitude to be in those situations. You're not gonna hit every shot. I think even when we talk about his airness, Michael Jordan, uh, LeBron James, you want to look at every last second shot they shot. They didn't make it, but are they not great? Brunson has a thing to him, but also, man, he missed that shot. That last shot he should have made, that 3-pointer. And if it wasn't for Anunoby, who knows what that series would look like. So, I mean, he misses shots too. We tend to call it the Men in Black effect, the little forget thing. If they win the game, we forget all the bad. And then if they lose the game, we forget all the good. Um with Brunson this year, he won. They won a championship. Last year, we weren't talking about Brunson like this. We'll wait till see next year. Shea, everyone's talking crap about Shea this year. Last year, there was no other better player. He's MJ's son, all that stuff. But every year, it's who wins that gets all of the glaze, and then everybody who lost just is trash. So I don't even want to apply it to the Pistons. When we were the first seed, 60 wins, everybody was coming up here saying we the best. Nobody can mess with us. We lose a series. Actually, we go down against Orlando and we're trash. We beat Orlando and we're the best. Then we go up against the Cavs. We're gonna win it all. And then you see what I'm saying? And so I think it's called uh some relevancy bias. It's as the farther you go away from an event, the more unbiased you get about it. But right in the moment, you're just gonna have a really, really skewed vision of what happened. You kind of have to kind of sit on it and then look at what happened. Watch it again, and then you'll understand kind of a little bit more of. You have a broader perspective of what happened. Phoenix says the Celtics are possession maxing and 3-point maxing with Tatum and PG. LOL. Don't be shocked if Boston finishes top three still. I don't believe in those teams, man. The ones that 3-point max and they possession max. They might win, and then if they have off games at critical moments, they die by the three. But they win by the three too. Um, by the way, I still think the Pistons are better than the 76ers. I'm very low on that Sixers team with JB. The amount of turnovers and no defensive rebounding. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. People are like, "Oh, Maury's the best, and we wish we had someone like him." Nah, I'm good. I'm really good. Like, I think he drafts well. I think he drafts well, but like the dude has Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, LeBaron. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what he's thinking. I think he just drafts for talent and thinks talent plus talent plus talent plus talent works. But if you actually played basketball, which I don't think he's played basketball a day in his life, you can have the most talented people on the one team together, and if you don't have the coaching, the connector, the leadership, it ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. They're all gonna hate each other. You'll see them leave each other very quickly. What's the next move? Still need a second option. You tell me, bro. What's the next move? Because they're becoming limited. They are becoming limited. You're talking about a second option. Who is available? Is Kyrie available? LeBron said he don't want to be a second option. He wants to be a third or a fourth option. Um, Jalen Brown's not available. Harrow to me is a third option and probably got more expensive now. Um, they go down the list. Norman Powell was taken. He could have been a good third, not a second. So yeah, man, it's Jalen Brown was the guy for me. Jalen Brown was the guy for me. He was the guy we needed to take if we wanted a legit second next to Cade, like in this next year. Otherwise, we might have to wait a little bit. um Bling says, yes, I would keep Tobias. Collins is not an upgrade. We signed Kevin Herter is unbelievable. I have a question. Do you think Pistons offseason is done? Nah. I don't think it's done yet. I think we still need depth at the four. And I still think Duren's not even signed yet. So I don't think we're done yet. I don't know if it's gonna be crazy, but I don't think we're done yet. Pistons are greater than the Sixers every day, all the time. No debate. Detroit Red says Cade doesn't have a dominant clutch gene. You're insane for saying that, bro. Uh, oh, I think that you're saying that sarcastically that he doesn't have a dominant clutch gene. You're insane for saying that, bro. Shoot, like I said, I believe the clutch is about pressure, and you only get better the more that you're in those moments. Um, I think Cade has fared well in those moments, man. I don't think he's been bad in the clutch. I think he's been bad in some very critical games, like Game 7 against the Cavs. But I don't think he's been bad necessarily at critical moment. I I mean, look, the turnover things, the turnovers at like those critical moments in games, that kills me. It kills me. And I'm sure it kills him too. But does that if I don't think that's gonna like define his career, if that makes sense. I don't think that's gonna be him, the guy who chokes whenever the time is ticking and he's got to do something for his squad. I think it's gonna be the opposite. I think you always give it to Cade, and most of the time something good's gonna happen. Um, MB Well says, "What are they getting in return for Sasser?" I talked about that a little bit earlier, but I'll explain it a little bit now. From my understanding, there's a couple ways this can go, and it's all about flexibility, but in different ways. Number one, I'll say with the worst case scenario, he's just a cap casualty. It happens to a lot of people. You get John Collins. He's a what $51 million contract. Um, you're gonna have to sign Duren. You don't know how much you're gonna sign him for. You need to make some space. You want to stay under an apron. You want to stay a cap space team. All that good stuff. Yeah, you just chop his contract. You send him somewhere. However, the fact that there was news about Collins being a sign and trade, and then also Sasser being traded for essentially nothing. I think there's something to go to do. There's something going on there, and so I think it's a part of a bigger trade. And my theory is, and I've seen this in other people also talked about something similar, where because we don't know what's going to happen with Duren yet, he hasn't officially signed. We need to still be thinking about the center position because we may not have a center. Might have B-ball Paul and Tolu Smith. It's I don't think we want to go into the season with those two guys. So it'd be great, but we probably need some more depth at least, or a starter at the very least. So keeping a relationship with Dallas open with this trade opportunity allows. I think we're contemplating if we want someone like Gafford to come back or a guy like PJ. I think it's gonna be one or the other. And I saw some Dallas fans talking about that too. That's why they're so like they want Sasser on the team, but they know that it's gonna come at the price of either PJ or Gafford. And I could be wrong because he could just be cap space casualty. But I believe that Trajan is playing it in a way with his relationship with Dallas to have some leverage, have a backup plan, just in case, Duren does say, Duren, somebody does offer Duren something like that for 177, and he says, I don't want to play for the Pistons. I don't like you guys anymore, stuff like that, and it gets ugly. At least we'll be able to like pivot. um, A fair point, but I don't see Detroit winning a title with Cade as the number one option in a game seven, down five with 40 seconds left on the clock. To be honest, man, there's not a lot of people that I would just give the ball to and be like, he's gonna make it. I mean, there's a lot of people, there's some players where I'm like, give Luca the ball, give LeBron the ball, give Cade the ball, give Jalen Brown the ball or Jason Tatum, or give these guys the ball. Uh, does it mean they're gonna make it, man? Sometimes a Michael Beasley, don't even get me started with him, bro. But sometimes a Michael Beasley will be the guy that hits the three at the end of the game. Does that mean he's the most clutch guy in the world? And Robert Ory was clutch, right? Would you trade him for Cade? Hey, bro, that's a hot take, bro. Would you trade Robert Ory for Cade just because he's clutch? And some people might say, yeah, I would never. You know what I'm saying? I would never because the type of player Cade is carries a franchise to the finals. Carried you to that game seven. Does he have to win the game down five with 45 seconds left? Yeah, I hope we put enough around him so either we're not in that position or he's got some help and maybe he might be the guy to do it because he's so good. But I don't want to like just I don't know, man. I'm too old to believe in like superhero syndrome that there's a guy that's just gonna always get it done all the time. You need to have guys that can do it, guys that can support each other. It's a team game for a reason, you know. So with that, I agree with you. Maybe there is another guy that I want shooting that three, not Cade right now. But does that mean I would trade him for Cade? Nah. Trey Murphy or Tyler Hero. If you had to pick one, you know what? That's my next poll, y'all. That's my next poll. And let's see the poll results. Um, 36 gave it a C. B was next. D. So nobody's feeling it was an excellent job. I get it. Um, Most people are feeling like mediocre. Some people are like it was better than not. But then I feel like those guys in the D range are like I'm waiting for something. I'm really waiting for something. So I'm gonna put in the poll. Who should we go after next? Murphy, uh, Hero. Um, I could only put four, so I just put the guys that are probably the most available now. Not most likely, but most available at the very least. See ya, 313 Thug living. Catch you later. Please subscribe and then like, dislike, whatever you feel, bro. I'll see you next time. Um, I'm gonna go back to the comments, say some comments right here. My paper East rankings as of now. Oh, my power East rankings maybe. New York, Toronto. He's biased, but I mean they did just get Kawhi, so I get it. Boston, Miami, Detroit. Boo! You should have put us a little bit further up, man. I think Boston is a fraud, and I think Miami's not proven. I love Giannis and Bam, but I think they're not proven. Indiana, Philly, and Orlando. Bro, Orlando's tough, man. Orlando's tough. I could see them sneaking up there in the rankings. If they can stay healthy, if Franz and Paulo can stay healthy, they don't even need Bane, bro. I don't know why they wasted all those picks. But if they could keep Franz and Bankero healthy, man, that team, bro, is. And then Bankero got to get smarter. He's just not smart. He's got like he's so talented, but he's not smart with the ball. And when he does play smart, they're unbeatable. Philly, I don't know, man. Still unproven. Still unproven. I don't think they have a true point guard. I think they have a bunch of guys that love to score and not a real point guard. They don't got someone to organize the offense. And then you got Embiid, who's like, give me the ball. So even though he's got a bunch of scorers, you got a black hole in the middle that kind of makes all of their talent irrelevant, in my opinion. They become spot up shooters, and you could get a bunch of Duncans, Malik Beasley's. Like you could get a bunch of those guys for much cheaper than. I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion. I think when you have a black hole like that, what you want with the guys like that is a Nikola Jokic. You want a Cade because then they can defer and actually accentuate like their talent. You see a Jalen Brown who was on off next to a Jason Tatum was bad, but who was their point guard, bro? Well, I don't think they had a guy or people, that's what this generation I don't think really values is point guard play. Like, and I don't mean the short guy like Jaden Ivey's description. It's not the short guy on the team. It's the guy that organizes the offense. It doesn't have to be someone under 6'3". It just has to be someone who organizes the offense, gets guys in their spots, starts offensive sets, make sure that the turnovers are low because people aren't just being stupid with the ball. Um, that's your point guard. And people don't value good floor general point guard play anymore. The Jason Kidds, the Steve Nashes, the Chauncey Billups. Who was Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum's point guards? You know what I mean? The Celtics were better when they had Rondo, in my opinion. Um, Bling says, does Ibuka Okori make an impact for the Pistons this year? That's tough. That's real tough. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I think he has all the opportunity to. So I think he has the opportunity to be this year's Edgecombe. He has that opportunity. Will he be? I mean, he could come in and then, get the nerves and shy away, or he could come in and, like I said, make people scared. Um, so we'll see, man. We'll see. Ibuka is a wild card for me this year. I know he's gonna be good. I have a lot of confidence in him as he gets older. Um, he's only 19. When you're 19, you're a rookie. You're coming on a good team. You may do some stuff that are stupid because you want to show that you belong, and coach might pull you out. And so similar to Ron Holland. So I believe he can make an impact. Will he be played like that? I don't know. Akira sadly will get traded from Detroit and turn into SGA. Who is Akira? Oh, Corey. Hey, maybe, bro. Oh, maybe. But I don't think we're gonna trade him. I think when Trajan picks a guy, it's for a reason. So hopefully he's got some faith in him. I want MPJ. Me too, bro. I always go on this other guy's podcast. He's a Brooklyn Net fan. Um, and I'm always like, yo, what's it gonna take for our team to get MPJ? Like, what does it look like from a Brooklyn fan's point of view? And they don't want to get rid of him. I'll be honest with you. Like, fans love MPJ and Brooklyn. They love all their players. They love their draft picks. They love everything. They don't want to change what they need to change, and they know they got to change, but they don't want to give up anybody. But MPJ specifically, they don't want to give him up. Uh, I think we were better. We were in a better position. I mean, we could still do a sign and trade with Brooklyn. I just don't think they need Duren, and I don't know if we would at this point with all, in my opinion, I think at this point, with all the leverage we have contract wise, Brooklyn would have to make that offer and force us to match and then think about, do we want to pay Duran 40 mil a year? And if we say no, then the sign and trade makes sense. But if we do want to pay Duran that 40 mil a year, um I don't even know what else we'll have to send over for MPJ. I don't even know. I think they'll want more than Duran. So I don't know. I think he gets expensive too. Gave Jalen the ball. Bro got strapped by 35-year-old PG Main. um, Imagine a 6'10" sniper next to Cade. Hey, bro, a Trey Murphy. Would you call him a sniper? I know he's a good 3-point shooter, but is he like sniper? I don't know, man. I think he's good. He has great games where he shoots the three, the lights out of the ball, but um, like cat sniper. I don't know. Like, is he win? He's not a 3-point contest kind of guy, in my opinion. But I think he's an upgrade over a lot of the fours we've had. So 6'10". Oh, you're talking about MPJ, bro. Imagine, bro, Trey Murphy and MPJ. Like, now you got some 3-point shooting, but you really sacrificed a lot of defense there. You really do. Jordan and Isaiah, I think they're more like the guys that actually, like, we see Jordan's game-winning shot against Utah, or we see some of those things. But when you look at Jordan's career, he didn't win every single game that went down to the wire, and Isaiah didn't either. They willed their teams to positions of like success. So their teams were always in the Eastern Conference Finals. Their teams were always, contending for championships. Their team were always in the game or blowing other teams out. So, um, I think Cade is a lot like those guys you're talking about, Jordan and Isaiah. I don't think the clutch gene is not at 100 for anybody. The closest guy is probably like guys like Robert Ory, and I hate him with a passion, man. I hate Robert Ory. We need a sharpshooter. Yep. If we can keep Duncan and Hero, I would love it, bro. Like, if we could get both. I think Isaiah Joe is good, but he's not Hero. Um, if Murphy's primary role is power forward, then sure, but he isn't a great power forward. I agree. I don't think who is a great power forward nowadays. I think John Collins is like right there, man. I like who's a great power forward. The power forward position is really lacking nowadays. I don't see anyone that really just yells, "Hey man, I'm the best power forward in the league." And there's a lot of good talent, but those guys are tweeners. They're three, four, fives. Giannis is the closest thing, but I don't even know what his position is. Is Giannis a three, four, or five? Because he kind of plays all across that range. If Pistons don't get any of these guys, the offseason was a failure. Bro, the East, I would say, I don't want to say a failure because you're expecting change, but sometimes the change is not as like you don't have to look too far to see change. Let me put it that way, especially with young teams. Like if Asar and Ron Holland become respectable shooters, man, we're gonna see a big change. Huge. Bigger than selling those guys for a Trey Murphy. It'll just be huge. So I wouldn't say nobody wins a championship in the off season. Nobody wins. Sometimes keeping a young guy turns out to be the win. So I won't. I don't want to. I can grade it. I can grade it on a grade from like A to D, a B, a C. I'm not gonna give it an A. Um, but I'm not gonna say because I do think you're right. I think we wanted to get a legit number two, and he tried. And like someone said in the chat, great woohoo! Like he tried. So what? Everybody tries, but who's gonna actually make it happen? Um, I can't knock him. I can't knock him this time around. He really did try, and everyone either signed with their team or they did something crazy like fled to Canada because the IRS is gonna investigate them. You know what I mean? What can you do there? Um, I think the East Coast hoops is greater than West Coast. Man, especially man, if they moved Minnesota to the East, whoo. We don't talk much about the expansion, but if Minnesota moves to the East too, yeah, man, the East Coast is where it's at. The East, because a lot of those Western teams are either getting old. You still got Luca in LA, Austin Reeves there too, so you got a duo there. You still got the Nuggets, but they're kind of fading. You still got San Antonio. You can't forget about them. I think Houston had a down year. I think they have a lot of young talent. I mean, you want to talk about a failure? What did Houston do this offseason? But I think they're banking on a lot of young development. Um, Phoenix, dude, Phoenix actually picked up a lot of good talent. So there's a lot of different even West teams that Utah, bro, Utah is gonna be a team to watch for. Like for real. Utah has um Utah's got bro, and they got the second pick and picked up Patterson. Like that to me by itself, along with all the other additions that they made, and with Keontae George uh becoming that star. The only thing is they lost Kessler, but other than that, bro, I think they're gonna be an awesome team. Um, Solo MPJ is a good pick, man. If we can get him, just depends on the price. Timothy says, 6'10" sniper would be Kevin Durant. Agreed. Drew Holiday, man, that was a low key person I wanted us to go after, and we really didn't. Um, and Portland is so guard heavy. So keep a lookout. Keep a lookout because I think Portland is gonna want to shed, either a Shaden Sharp, a Scoot Henderson. I mean, think about their lineups right now. They got Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Damian Lillard, John Morant. So you talk about guard heavy. They got guards, and there's some small guards too. So yeah, man. I think we can look there. We could look there to see if we could pick up a two. Maybe it's Shaden Sharp. But he's not a legit number two, but he's a guy that's young, right fits right in. Probably who we should have drafted. No shade to Jaden, but um I was actually a Matherin guy. Like if we could go get a Matherin, like I didn't even want Kawhi. I wanted Matherin. Um Mayuki, I hope I said your name right. Aloha from Hawaii, and what up, though? Just subscribe to your channel. Respect your take on your Pistons trade saga. Been a long time fan from the Bad Boys era. Yes, I am old. A welcome, man. Aloha. Man, I gotta come visit you, bro. I'm due for a vacation, and I wanna see Hawaii, man. I've never been, and there's a connection with Hawaii and Detroit, and I love it, man. But welcome to the show. You're very welcome to come on if you'd like. Longtime fans have what wisdom, and I appreciate that. So if you ever want to come on, voice your opinion. you're more than welcome to. Soren, Las Vegas expansion team should be in the Eastern Conference, Seattle in the West. I think it might play out like that. I think it might. Or Las Vegas and Seattle both in the West, and then they move Minnesota. I think they were talking about doing that. Um, the keys to wisdom. I need to know what those are, bro. You need to let me know what the keys to wisdom are. If Duren decides to sign the qualifying over the Pistons are wrecked, he will get a year deal with no trade clause and walk away with nothing in return. Yeah, but he's also only accepting what, 9 million? I mean, for a year, yeah, we would be like selling all of our assets, but we would have some space to sign some people, I guess. I mean, hey, bro, that could be like a man. I want to wreck you guys, and I don't want you guys to move anywhere. But it would be a salary cap dump at that point, and at that point, we would just kind of have to play with him for a year, and then rebuild in the off season with a lot of cap space. So it wouldn't it wouldn't hurt too bad, um, but it would suck. It would suck for real. Mayuki. Okay. Awesome. It's always good when I get the name right. Um, but yeah, man, it's 2:30 here. It was a great show. Let me just tell you guys the results so far. Trey Murphy wins. LeBron's next. I'm surprised Hero got 0 votes. MPJ got, right next to 18%. So hey, man, I gotta say, I'm really surprised nobody wants Hero, but I understand why. He really doesn't he really doesn't give us what we need at this point. And then not only that, I think he's going to be super expensive. Keys to Wisdom says it is a big risk for Duran, but he would be an unrestricted free agent next year, and only 9 million in cap space opens up. Yeah, we're gonna sign him, bro. We're gonna sign him. I don't think he's gonna take the qualifying offer. I think he's gonna want to get signed. I think he wants to be a Piston. I think his agent is an idiot. That's what I truly believe. I think Jalen is he wants to be here, but I could tell like Jalen's not the one going telling the media he wants to be a Celtic and he wants to be a net and it's his agent. And that's why when I see a lot of like media heads come up here and say, "How could he do that? We are ruining the relationship." No, man. No. If you know business, once that contract is signed, the relationship will be fine. In negotiation periods, that's why you got an agent. You don't really deal with that. You gotta keep your feelings out of it. I always flip it on the other side. If Jalen was a good friend, he would play for us for free, right? It's not about friendship. It's not about being good and relationship building and all. In the end of the day, they're gonna get paid millions of dollars to do a job. It's nice if they love being here and they, have great camaraderie with the front office and all that jazz. Uh, and then you also it's nice if they're a superstar and you have that good relationship. But if you're a guy who's 22 and you're still trying to prove yourself and you were able to work hard, have a good season, and then have a struggle in the playoffs and then come and say, I want supermax money or else I want to be a Celtic or a Sacramento King or a net. Listen, I said this before. Y'all need to go watch the earlier podcasts. I said this before. The Pistons approach and Trajan read my mind. Go up to Duran and say, "Do you want to play next to Cade Cunningham? Do you want to win a championship in Detroit? Because that's where we're going. And if you want to be a part of it, this is what the money looks like. If you don't want to be a part of it, sayonara. That's it." I think we have to get to that point because we have a legit, in my opinion, transcendent talent on our team. Somebody who is the point guard, is the organizer, is the guy that's going to bring the team together to win a championship. You want to be on the boat? Hop on, grab an oar, start rowing. If you don't, if that sounds like hard work and you're not getting paid enough and blah 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 blah, man, I'm sorry. Like we're trying to get somewhere. And we have a captain. You don't have to be on this boat if you don't want to be. You go to Sacramento. I think they have a. I don't know if they even have a boat. I think they like to swim in the ocean. So go to Sacramento, bro. Keys to Wyndham says, did you see how cheaply the 76ers got Jalen Brown? I am pissed we did not go get him at such a low price. Same here. But I think we also underestimate Paul George's value. Paul George is, I mean, people might not agree, but like he's just an older Jason Tatum. So you're getting the same talent. You duplicated Tatum. So and then so I don't think they gave up. I don't think they gave up too much, to be honest. Uh, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Jalen Brown is really really good," but Paul George is a giveaway too. Like he was probably the Sixers' best player in the playoffs. Moonlight says, "Who's the cheapest trade target in the poll?" Um, Low key. Well, LeBron is not a trade target necessarily. But I think you could low key probably argue that LeBron is the cheapest at this point. That's interesting to say, but I think I can confidently say that. Mayuki, question for everyone. For those who want a Jalen Brown, King James, or even an MPJ, how much do you think team chemistry or ego plays a factor? Yeah, man. Um, I think team chemistry is everything, but I also think your leaders need to be. There's IQ, there's EQ, and there's SQ. IQ is like your intelligence quotient. It's like how smart you are, how you can take a playbook, dissect an offense, defense, all that great jazz. Emotional, you know, EQ is like as a leader, as a human, how are you able to connect with others, understand their feelings. So coaches really need to be high in EQ. When it comes to SQ, you need the leaders on the team and the coaches to be really, really good with SQ. That's social quotient. How connecting you are with others, how good you are at developing relationships, maintaining relationships, being attractive. Like there's a actual attractiveness factor when it comes to these guys. They call it aura or whatever, but there's an attractiveness factor where people defer to them. They look up to them. They want to play next to them. They want to talk to them. They want to be around them. You know, all the time together all the time was not just something Cade liked to say. He believed in it, and that's what they were. They were a team and a family. So, I believe team chemistry goes a long way. I don't think Jalen Brown or MPJ. I'm not gonna just knock these guys and say they're bad at it, but you gotta take that into account when you are looking at guys for sure, or how the team's gonna be built. But I think we got a guy where it's going to be very hard to mess it up. You got to bring a guy like a really angry Draymond Green like to the team. Bring a really angry Draymond Green to the team, and he might mess it up. Um, the keys to wisdom are Moonlight says, "Don't care about ego. Pistons need to make a move." I agree, bro. I think that, like I said, I think they'll fit in. I think we overplay some of these things because we see players get on podcasts and we're like, oh man, he has an opinion. That's ego. It's not always ego. They're allowed to have opinions. Um, Jalen Brown is a young and all NBA, way above LeBron now. Cade and Brown would mean instant contenders as long as they are together. For sure. For sure. And Asar? If we kept Asar too, if we were able to even have Collins too now, you can have Duren. You can have Duren and anybody else on the roster, to be honest, and we'll figure it out after that. Both JB and Trajan describe our Pistons players of being high character, so it seems like that is a key requirement for the organization and the front office. It should be. It should be. That's why when people, I don't want to knock Ant right now because I like Ant. I like his personality. I like all that. But Anthony Edwards is not Cade Cunningham. If Anthony Edwards comes out and says, "I want to be in Atlanta. I want to go home. I want to," I've never heard anything. r- I can't see it coming out of Cade's mouth. You know, he can surprise me, but um, I've only heard the opposite. I've heard this, good things. This is where I want to win. This, I'm all in. I'm all those sorts of things. So again, all the time together all the time. Not, oh, I want to leave and go find another team. He didn't have no world star players out next to him last year. But he was all time together all the time. And I think when you have a star with that high character, that's it, man. That's it. Moonlight says, but even if we do get one of those guys, Collins and Duran are still terrible. Uh, I don't know why you think Collins is terrible, and I Duran is was terrible in the playoffs. But I watched every game, bro. Like I watched every game. The playoffs are a different beast, and Duran needs to figure out how. Shaq had an interview. He had an interview about how early in the league he struggled, even though he's huge and powerful, he struggled with the amount of times refs let guys grab him and just foul him just because they're smaller. And he would go up to the refs and they say, "Man, we can't call every single one of them." They say, "You're a problem." And so then he had to learn, okay, well, I'm gonna stay in the lane longer than 3 seconds. You can't call all of them. Duran's gonna kind of figure that out. He's gonna have to figure out how to use his because he was getting hammered, man. He was feeling the physicality down low. So with that, you kind of have to adjust and figure out how to play to your strengths, even though others are trying to stop you in whatever way that they need to. Keys to Wisdom says 76ers stole Brown for dirt cheap. hmm LeBron is looking for a title chance, and all signs point to him signing a very cheap deal with whoever he goes to. Hopefully, Detroit. Cheap, man. Cheap, cheap. We need a good 3-4, right? So, cheap. Um, Le- Moonlight says LeBron isn't going to Pistons. They don't have a good enough roster. I mean, we got guys. They're just, not Jalen Brown and Tyrese Maxey and Embiid. We got Cade Cunningham. We got John Collins. I don't know if we have Duren yet, but should have Duren. We got guys. LeBron has only spoken well of the Detroit Pistons, so I don't think he's like, man, I hate these Pistons. They suck. I think he's only spoken well of the Detroit Pistons. And we kicked their butt, man. Every time we played them last time, Danis Jenkins led the team to victory against them. So maybe he likes Danis, bro. Who knows? LeBron is down to a short list. Warriors, Cavs, 76ers. I agree. I think it's gonna end up being Warriors. That's just I don't even think he'll go to the Cavs. That team is imploding soon. I agree that leadership is key to a team's success, which is why you saw Brunson win. Like, and the coaching staff does matter too. Um, the keys to wisdom says I expect LeBron to go to the Cavs to end where he began. We'll see. The Cavs are legit enough to for sure be a threat. With LeBron coming on board, he wants that fairy tale ending in Cleveland. I think if he goes to Cleveland, he doesn't get that fairy tale ending. That's it. That's why I don't think he wants to go. But he could. He could. They did just lose Dean Wade and didn't really care about it. They are shopping Max Struz. Um, so maybe that's because they want to make space for LeBron. Who is Cavs small forward exactly? Uh, It was Dean Wade, right? Keon Ellis is gone. You know, you might be right. You might be right. I'm now looking at it, and the only guy they got to get rid of now is Max Strus. and that would probably clear enough space for them to get a guy like LeBron. Cade definitely didn't want to get drafted by Cleveland. I know. I know. They bought the Buffs with him, man. I know. Cavs lost badly to Knicks. LeBron isn't fixing that. I agree. I think that I think you might be right. I don't know. They'd have to make some other moves too. But I mean, if you do have a LeBron, you don't have James Harden being stupid in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? And you do have a guy that I don't know. Actually, against OKC, LeBron had no leverage with the refs. So you might be right. I don't think. I think regardless, I don't think Cavs are winning it. If Jalen Brown came to Detroit, they could never wear their white jerseys. I mean, listen, it's the off season. You can go take a trip to Turkey. I hear they do some great surgeries over there. Come back a new man, ready to win a championship for the next 2, 3 years with Cade Cunningham. It's just not gonna happen now. Sadly, sadly. Maybe when his contract expires, we see something, or maybe a trade midseason, they find out it's not working. Maybe he hates how much Embiid flops. Also, just remember that he did go out publicly and talk some mad smack about Embiid and his flopping. So there's already some tension there. We'll see where that happens. It's not a foregone conclusion that he just ends his career in Philly, right? Um, and then the Keys to Wisdom says the fairy tale ends well, just going to the Cavs. Winning and success is a cherry on top, and Dan Gilbert will always be good to him later on for taking the cheap deal. Hey, just because you mentioned Dan Gilbert, what a sellout, bro. That guy's a Detroiter that bought Detroit and gave it to the Cavs, bro. What a sellout. Cavs are definitely better than the Warriors are. Going to Golden State risks a flop. Going to Cavs is a surefire playoff run. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, the Warriors still have Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, um, Draymond Green. They still got guys. I agree, they're not the same Warriors as before, and having LeBron doesn't change it much. But I don't think the Cavs are like that much better. They have Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley is a G, man, but he's not going to be scoring 30, 40 points a game. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. The Cavs, to me, we shouldn't have lost to them. We were a way better team. I really believe that the refs had something going on there. They just did not want to see the Pistons win this year. Cavs would be a horrible choice if you want to win a chip. 76ers want LeBron to play power forward for them. Point forward. I think point forward because they don't have a point guard. I think Tyrese Maxey is not a point guard. VJ Edgecombe is not a point guard. They have a bunch of scorers and then nothing else. So, hey, good luck to them. Good luck to them. Um, Mitchell, Mobley, LeBron, and Harden is pretty solid, man. I don't know, man. I'm just not a Harden fan anymore. I don't know. I like Mitchell, Mobley, and LeBron. I think that's solid. I think that is. But I don't know where you do got Mobley and Jarrett Allen, right? So you do have defense down low, but your perimeter is just leaking as long as you have Harden and Mitchell up there. LeBron does add a level, but bro, he's got to actually want it. Like he's got to come in with like I'm winning a championship this year kind of mentality, and not the LeBron we've seen for the past couple years. Yeah, honestly, come to the Pistons, bro. Come to the Pistons. LeBron, you want to win? Come to the Pistons. Even if you don't win, it's great because you can crown Cade the next king and drive the train to Cleveland and then end your career there, buy a house there. if you want, but at least play for us last. But man, thank you guys for joining. Please, everyone, subscribe. And then like the channel. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. Either way, thank you for coming and engaging. I really appreciate it. Listen, I'm gonna be coming back. I took a little hiatus, but I'm gonna be coming back. If not every night, every other night. So please, tune in. And you already know what it is. It's Detroit basketball. Ball don't lie. I'm your host, 313 Sports Guru. My guy, Main Event, was gonna be here tonight. He's gonna be here next time, and then I really want to bring you guys up. So if you guys want, send the chat after you subscribe. Send the chat to me if you do want to get up here, and I'll start planning to bring some guys up here so that we could talk more. You know, I like talking to you guys in the chat, but I would like talking to you guys more. You know, actually, one-on-one or in a group. So let me know, y'all. But peace out. Signing off. You know, stay if you want to hear our song, all about, Detroit basketball song, and let me know how you guys like it. All right? Peace out.
Turn me up. Detroit already know what time it is. No soft tape. No fake love. Run the tape. Ball don't lie. Smooth operator, Cade Cunningham with the handle. Fourth quarter cold, he light up the candle. City on 10 when he shift that angle. One wrong step, now the defense is shambles. Stop sign, saw red light on wings. Clamps too tight, he control everything. Number 9 lurking, no room for the swing. You thought you had space, now you stuck in the ring. Beef stew in the mud, bringing heat to the glass. Talk too light, better move with some class. Jalen Duren at the rim, got the paint on tax. Come down that lane, better know where you at. Ryan Harlan hungry, young wolf with bite. Detroit don't race off, we race fight. Bad whistle blow, still standing upright. LCI shake when the boys get right. From the Coney to the group chat, everybody got a tag. From the cheap seats to the live stream, everybody wide awake. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 313, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. When it's chaos, I'm on raw routes, first downs pay off. John me again, Sonic gone when he take off. Blink one time, now the whole roof came off. Hunch off the edge, that pocket get haunted. Quarterback nervous, now the drive getting stalled up. Party stayed well, Stonewall, nobody falling. Jama over top, hit a whole crowd calling. Kirby in the back, bad throws get taken. Fourth field loud, whole city start shaking. Fourth quarter pressure, everybody awaken. Detroit been patient, now the league gotta face it. We sat through the jokes, we sat through the pain. Still watercolor, still screamed in the rain. Now they wanna talk like they knew the name, but we was in the mud when they laughed at the game. Woodward lights, 94 traffic, still tuned in, still talking magic. Win or lose, we don't disappear. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 313, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. Don't bring lazy takes in here.